Um, it is Monday and we are live. How's everybody doing this evening? Joey, it's so good to have you back. We have missed you. And Monica's here from Durand, Illinois. Hi, Monica. How are you? Jean has made it from Mount Vernon, Washington. And Jan from up in South Montana. Charlene is here from Colorado and Carla from Oklahoma City, and it's a warm evening in Oklahoma City. Our weather has cooled off, so I think we're done with the warm weather. And Cactus Deb in sunny Glendale, Arizona. How are you? And Leah's here from Indiana. Everybody doing well? I hope so. Ronnie, my friend from northeastern Arizona, how are you this evening? Kathy is here from Long Island. Always good to see you, Kathy. And hi to Debbie from Bloomington, Illinois. I got to tell you guys, I know I'm like a minute late getting in tonight. I just had an absolutely wonderful day today. I got to spend yesterday and today with our granddaughter from Glendale, Arizona, Deb, and we are teaching her to sew. And she did for her first project an absolutely beautiful job on a zippered bag. If you ever get a chance to sew with your grandchildren, please don't give it up. It's one of the best feelings in the world, you guys. I just had a very special couple days. Carla says they're getting the cool down around midnight. Yeah, we're to the point where we are going to end up bringing plants in the house. So what have we got tonight? Let's take a look. Well, what I know we don't have is we don't have Ken moderating for us. So I will do the best that I can in making sure that everyone's questions are answered. And tonight we are going to look at DM quilting because it's Monday, the puzzle template two-piece set. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first started working with this, I was confused as to how they went together. But once you start working with them, it's really quite easy. And the instructions that Donna left for us, absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But that's Donna. She does good. She did a good job with these. Okay. Oh, and Jan, I have a full bobbin tonight, so we should be good. Okay. We have markings on the rulers that we want to talk about first. And those are center marks. And we have a vertical center coming from the top and the bottom with a needle channel. Don't you love the needle channels? I do. And then we have a horizontal center, and those are going to be important markings for us. The other thing that this template has that I really, really enjoy is all of the etched lines that help us stay in the same place that we're supposed to stay in, because you all know I like getting off on a tangent every now and then. Now, this one, the first one I've got out here is 3.5 inches by 5 inches. That is a big template, guys. And it's going to cover a lot of area with very little time. So, what this would be is a great edge to edge design. And there is a class, I think on the university, It's a Puzzle to Me. Okay, it was done on Wednesday Wonders, And Donna did take a look at this and how to put things together in a nice way. So we always have that available to us. Now, our small one is only 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And if you notice, it's only half of the template. So it's a little different rotation or a little different way that we're going to put it on. So first what we're going to do is work with the larger template, okay? As soon as I take a look and see what's going on here, um, uh, Jan says she wishes she could get her granddaughters interested. She's been trying for 18 years. They're 22 and 18. And you know what, Jan, don't give up on them, okay? Because you just never know. Pam is here from the Maine, not the coast, from the mountain region, okay? Oh, my camera is too close, guys. Okay, let me go ahead and pull it out a little bit. I've got the big machine out tonight, so I guess I'm just used to having the little one out. So here is our vertical center. We're coming up here and here is our horizontal center. The etched lines, and let me put this back under here, Lee, because I want to make sure you guys see this. I think it's a really, really great use of the etched lines that we have for this. And there we go. They come out and they really make sense once you start doing it. When I first looked at them, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of went and looked at them and went, okay, where do those go? What do those come from? But it does make sense. So the first thing we're going to work with here today is a 3-inch grid. Okay. And that is a 3-inch grid. And there's definitely different options, and one of them is limited option or back stitching, okay? Now you can come from the bottom right and move up, or you can come from the top left and move down. I like the top left moving down personally, so that's basically where we're gonna start. And I want you to know I did draw this out and it made sense. Okay. Once I drew it out, it made sense. So, what we're going to do is we're going to come on our first line. And according to these directions, we are going to end up, and this is what's confusing, guys. It looks like this part of the template on the directions. It is not that part of the template. It is this part of the template that we're going to be stitching in first. So you can come from either way. This is my outside seam, my pretend outside seam, and we're going to come down around and I'm going to come back and we're going to end up here. So let's go ahead and do that. I just want you to notice I've got a reveal fabric in here, a layer of template fuse, and then I have the top fabric. We're going to do some template tonight. Isn't that cool? I love template. I just get so excited when we can do it. Okay, here's where we're at. If I can get my template all fixed up here. So what we're going to do, let me make sure this is a bad, actually, this is not a good fabric. I apologize. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the upper left hand corner. So we're going to come down, around, up, and back down. Okay. I do have a really dark thread in here, so we should be okay there. And I'm going to pull you in a little bit. Oh, there, that's gonna be much better for you to see. Hi, Lisa. How are you doing from Sugar Land, Texas? So good to see you. Always, it's good to see you. Okay. Yay for the Temple. Lee is excited about some doing some Temple tonight. I actually am too. I've been threatening to do it now for quite a while. So I'm really excited that I'm going to. This is my pretend seam. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my thread up. The reason that we do this, guys, I know I've said it 100 times, but we don't want to get that thread nest underneath there on the bottom. So by having both your bobbin thread and your top thread up, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to hang on to both of them, and they're not going to make a nest for you to have to pick out later. And I do have my big machine out tonight too. Was doing some projects and it was a good choice for me to have the big machine out. Okay, so here we go. And we're going to take it nice and easy. And I am going to adjust my foot here. I want to come the other direction. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's a lot easier. This is where we're coming back to. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go ahead and put this in. And yes, we do have some backtracking here. Don't get excited about it. Just take your time. It'll be fine. Don't sweat over it. Don't hold your fabric or your template with a death grip. That will only make matters worse. I want you guys to be nice and relaxed, and you will be able to just float over the top of your machine with your grid glider on, of course. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of this thread here because you all know that I just dislike it so much. So I have to get it out of there all the time. I'm not sure this is really the best angle. Okay. How about that angle, guys? Does that work a little better? I'm thinking it's going to be much easier for you to see there. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to focus in on that. Awesome. There we go. Okay, so now what we have to do, we're going to come down to the next line. And now the lines, remember, are your halfway points. And right here, my halfway point lines up vertically and lines up horizontally. And what I'm going to do is I'm only going to go from here down to here. And then we're going to put in the rest of it later. So let's go ahead and get this part done. Oh gosh, what happened there? My thread got caught. Okay, it's better now. We're just going to have a few really funny stitches up there. But, that's why we call it practice. Okay, let's go around here nice and easy. There we go. For some reason, I seem to be a little on the sticky side tonight. We're going to come all the way around, and my foot needs to be adjusted yet again. Okay, there we go. That's better. When your foot is adjusted properly, we can move a lot easier, okay, with the jerking and that sort of thing. So now we're going to come back down. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're just going to keep moving on down, okay? And again, we're going to do that top half. Nice and easy. Keep your hands relaxed because you're going to move a lot easier around the templates if your hands are relaxed. And here we go. Around we're going, and I love these. This really is, and I would not call this a beginner's template. A confident beginner, yes, but not a beginner because you have so many inside and outside curves. And, you really need to have a little bit of experience with those outside curves. And what I mean by that is this area right here that we're coming around right now would be real easy to go ahead and end up in the next square. I'm gonna say that instead of the next county, which is usually what I say. So, yeah, we wanna make sure that we're nice and steady, and we're gonna bring it down again, lining up our vertical and our horizontal lines. Please remember one thing, this machine is put really far in front of me, and the reason I do that is because I want you all to be able to see easily. So I put it way in front of me, and so what that does is that makes me look through the template. And when you're looking from back here, the lines aren't exactly where they're supposed to be. You want to be almost up above and looking straight down. And I think that's why I like my Singer 301 so much. It's a smaller machine and it allows me to really get a good look at where everything is going, my needle, my fabric, and it's just a good thing. Now, not that the big machines, there's anything wrong with them because there isn't. It's just preference. You may like a bigger machine. You may like a smaller machine. That is the disadvantage of the Singer 301. I've only got a 7-inch throat space on that. On this one, I've got a pretty big one. I don't know off the top of my head what size this is, but I know it's not 7 inches. Yeah, so, okay. Now, this is a problem we all run into, okay? What's gonna happen is we are off the edge of our fabric. We have got our stable tape. Whoops. And I'm gonna show you exactly where that stable tape is. So we've got our stable tape here, 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 and here. And those are all off the fabric. So if we hold our hands here like we normally do when we're stitching, what's going to happen is that stable tape is going to grab our glider and it's going to want to stop us flat. So what I like to do is I'll move this finger, I'm sorry, whoops. I'm going to move this finger from the corner up just a little bit. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this finger in and this finger in. And this should be more than enough to keep our fabric moving without any problems. And this is as far as we're going to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break thread. And I'm going to use that needle channel to get this thread out of here. Hello. I've got thread everywhere. Okay, scissors, guys, scissors. Okay, there we go. And there, and there. Okay, so it looks kind of weird. I know. I'm going to move you up and I'm going to back you out. So if you look at this, you see you've got a half of a puzzle piece here, a half here, a half here, half here. So now the next row, what we're going to do, whoops, I got the wrong thing there. We are going to go ahead and we are going to move those puzzle pieces in place. We're going to come here. This is where we can start. And there we go. Got myself moved and going there. So now I want to be up here and that's going to bring me, and I'm sorry that I have to look at it like that, guys. It's just me. Okay. I'm gonna come. Okay. This is the side, so this has to go like this, okay? So this one has to go like this. There we go. I knew how to do it. Sometimes it just takes me a minute to think about it. Okay, so the thread path this time is going to be a little different. We're going to come down around. mm, no, we're going to go this way. Yeah, we're going to just go this way. That's the way that it's drawn out for us. So we're going to come here around and end up here. And then we're going to move it in this direction. Okay. Like I said, it confused me. But then again, I was blonde. I can be confused easily. All right. Oh, Rita, good evening. So nice to have you here. Oh, my daughter is here from the river. Hi, Sarah. Love you, darling. And Lisa is, good morning, Lisa from South Korea. So nice to have you here. Very nice to have you here. Okay, so let's keep going. Sarah, did Audrey show you the bag she made today? She did a great job on it. I'm really proud of her. Okay, here we go. Row two. My whole family tonight is out at the river because our daughter, son in law, and family are all here from Glendale, Arizona. So everybody's out there saying goodbye because they're leaving first thing in the morning. There we go. And needle down, needle down. Line up our horizontal and our vertical lines, and everything looks to be really well lined up. And I think we've got good view here. There we go. Okay. Remember, no death grip now. And here we are. We're adding the second row. Now, you can also do, I'm going to go ahead and click that off. You can also do spin effects, rotations with this. Donna did it and it looks awesome. I don't believe we're going to have time to look at that tonight. I was hoping we would, but because I want to cover this with the template, I think our time is better served with that. So here we go. And these rows get easier and easier as you do each one. I'll be honest with you. Because once you get the pattern figured out, it just comes together. And down we go. We're going to come around. We're going to meet up on our next rotation. There we go. We've met up. Now we're going to just um, we're going to slide our ruler down and to the right. And we got there we go. There's just a hair off there, guys. You know, sometimes we do get a hair off. And what I attribute that to is the fact that our pen or pencil or chalk or whatever um, marking device we're using has dimension to it. And so, how do you build the perfect grid if you have to deal with the dimension of the marking utensils? You know, it's not easy. What I try to do is I will go ahead and put my first line in. And then what I will do is I will just hide that line right at the edge of the ruler. and then I will go ahead and put the next line in. I don't know if it works really any better than anything else, um, but at least I'm trying. Because the dimensions on our markers and stuff like that, depending on what we use, some of them can be pretty fat, fat, lines and stuff. So, we wanna try and keep that to a minimum if at all possible. And here we go. Almost done with our second, and you call it a row, but it's really not. We're going on a diagonal across the fabric. Like I said, this would be a awesome edge to edge design, especially if you have some blocks that will work well for template. I think this is just one of the best patterns for us to use template. And we're going to come down, and this will be our last one. Now, this time again, we're going to want to move our fingers so we are not on the outside of here pushing down on our grid glider, making us stop where we're at. Have I done that? Oh, yeah, I have. I'm sure many of you have too. That's just, the nature of the beast, I guess. Okay, there we go. Second time around and down. So let's go ahead and put our third line in. Okay, so where we're at here is we want to bring in the bottom of this. And then what we will do is we will continue down, okay? Um, let me get there we go. There we go. Ah, what did I just say? There it is. I knew I had it. It was just a matter. Now I'm going to come from the left to the right again. It was just a matter of finding it again, guys. I think I'm going to have to. You know what? This is coming out. That's probably one of the reasons I'm having so much trouble keeping the height consistent. And y'all know me, I like consistency. Yeah, do something right, do something wrong. It doesn't matter as long as you're consistent in whichever one it is you choose with quilting. Okay, let's clarify that. All right, there we go. And I am lined up on the vertical, I am lined up on the horizontal, and we're going to start at our pretend seam. Okay. I know this is kind of like watching paint dry. I understand that. But it is important to see how these designs kind of mesh together and how to stitch them that way because it is a little bit different than what we normally do. Okay, let's get our needle down there and around we go. Now we should be a little more stable. If it's possible for me to be stable at all, right? There we go. Let's cut the thread off. And let's see if we have well, Linda, my friend, Linda has shown up from New York. It's okay that you're late, Linda. We're not taking attendance. You guys are really quiet out there tonight. My goodness. I'm not sure if I should be happy about that or worried. Okay, here we go. We're going to come down, around, and stop here. Okay? And we're going to smoosh. We got to do a little smooching, but that's okay. It always works out, doesn't it? This little protrusion right here is one that you may want to give a little extra stability to as you're going around it. It just helps a little bit. And around we're gonna go. Nice smooth curve here. Remember, keeping that stitch length a little shorter is going to make that curve look all the much better and nice and smooth. There we go. Okay, we're going to come down here and do our next one. One thing I want to do here is I want to make sure that I give you a link to tonight's template. And don't forget, you get 20% off if you use our code today of Deal Day 20. Okay, around we go. We're just going to do like one or two more of these just to make sure you understand and you have a real good handle on exactly where we go with this template. Now, if I stitched a little faster, we probably could get a lot more in. But you'll see how everything is coming together, which is really awesome. Stop here. Now we do have a partial one yet to do right down here on the end. Don't forget these partial ones. I think it'd be easy to forget them because we're almost to the bottom and it's going to be just a partial puzzle piece instead of a whole one. So it's one of those things where, oh yeah, it doesn't matter, but it does. You definitely want to do this. Okay, and here we go. We are out into our seam allowance here. Okay, it's just a pretend seam allowance, right? I am just kind of curious. How many of you have this template? And how many of you have used it? And how many of you have wondered how to use it? Okay, so now you'll see we're going to start here and come here. It gets easier. Every time you do this, guys, it gets easier and it makes more sense. Don't you love this? Wouldn't this be awesome to do on a picture? Ah, there we go. Okay. And let's go ahead and get the next one done. All right. Remember, until you get that template in place, you really don't want to get that needle moving. Okay? That can cause some issues. Let's just put it that way. And this is one of those templates. I know I said it before, trust the template. This is one of those that you really need to trust the template. Okay. So whoops, wrong side. There we go. Again, beautiful alignment, vertical, horizontal. As you can see, each row gets shorter, each row gets easier. And we're going to just get done on this side. We're not going to do the other side. Okay. I do want to show you how this looks doing an 8-point crosshair because it's really quite interesting. We're going to use the large one to do it. And because this is what, 5.5 inches long, the 8-point crosshair is going to be quite large when we're done. It's going to be 11 inches. So that would definitely make short work of 12-inch blocks, wouldn't it? Okay. We're going to make one more move. Make sure we're lined up. Make sure our hands are also inside of the fabric. We want to make sure that we're not holding that template down on the slider or the bed of our machine. Okay, there we go. We got one or two left. That's it on this side. I can't wait. I love doing Templey, and it just seems like it's been forever since any of us have done it. My goodness. Okay, we're going to start at the bottom, come to the top on this one. You will get more and more confident with each pass you do. Okay, needle down, lined up, and around we go. And this will be our last pass. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of that thread. And now we are coming down. Is it, this is, okay. Sorry about that. This is how it gets easier and easier because everything starts lining up and making sense. Okay. Not that it doesn't make sense, but you get what I'm saying. It's easier for us if we have landmarks to follow. Well, for me anyway. Maybe you guys don't need them. I do, definitely. Okay. Let's see. Debbie says she has them used with a class and she thinks these are fun templates. I do too. Okay. Charlene has this template and she's waiting to see the template. I'm going to show it to you next. I promise. Lisa's going to put these on her wish list. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Lisa, because they really do allow us some real design options. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm not going to go ahead and finish the rest of this. We don't need to be here all night. So, well, I could be here all night, but that I'm sure you don't want to be. Seymour Burr, check. Oh, there we go. Have I got scissors? Yes, I have scissors. But the ones that I like for Templey are those scissors. Okay. The other scissors that work well is if you have embroidery machine, you have these little embroidery scissors. Those work well also, but these are definitely my favorite. Okay. Now, the other thing we have to do before we start cutting, I don't want to template every single puzzle piece. Okay. That to me is like kind of making no sense to do the stitching in the first place if we're going to template everyone. But I want to template them intermittently throughout here. Can I template one next to the other? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. If that's what you want, you go for it. Absolutely. And sometimes that looks really great. If we take a look again at Donna's class, you'll see that she does template some that are right next to the other. But you guys, I love this so much. I really do. I think it is the coolest thing ever. Now, I saw this done similar to this with a panel as released, the reveal fabric. And the panel was just stunning behind it coming to life. It really was. Now this design here, whoop, I'm gonna get over here so you can see it, is using it as a um, spinifex. And then, of course, she used the regular puzzle piece as the border. And yeah, here it is. This is it. So, you have options. You have different things you could do. And of course, Donna, being Donna, she wrote directions for all of it that are very good. Okay, here we go. Gonna get a marking pencil. I always want to mark my template before I start it, okay? So I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do this one as well. And yes, they are one right next to the other. Remember, don't bring this to the ironing board once you have the template fuse on. And I like to save that release paper and use it for drawing out designs and getting an idea of where I want to go with them. I'm going to come here and take one, and I'm going to come here and take one. Okay. So, oh, tic tac toe. But yeah, it's really fun. It really is. Now, seam rippers. We want to make sure that we have only the top fabric with the template. What I like to do is I like to get that little hole in there and move this seam ripper around with my finger on top of it. Because what that does is it assures me there's only one layer of fabric under there. You definitely go ahead and try it a few times in the margin. You definitely can feel the difference between um, two layers of fabric and one layer of fabric. Okay, so I feel very confident, and so here I go. Now, this is really kind of a good thing that this happened. You see what happened? It's jagged. It's got stray threads poking out of it, and that is because my seam ripper is dull. And yes, they do wear out. I always tell my students, buy yourself a new one, buy yourself a new seam ripper on your birthday every year. Hopefully, then they'll never wear out. Okay. Um, Lee says she's going to put these on her wish list. She thinks they're neat. Okay, Rita says, I love puzzles, but for some reason this template never spoke to me. I just haven't had any idea to make individual fabric puzzle pieces from a panel for the great grandkids to play with. And they would have a great time with that, Rita. It really it really works. It really works. Oh, Rita, thank you so much. Rita, she's just so sweet to me. Your demos always seem to make me change my mind, she said. That could be a good thing or a bad thing, right? Okay, so now back to our template. Again, I'm going to feel, have I got one layer or two under here? I'm on the border here. I can lift it up and just put it under here. Oh my goodness. That was my good seam ripper. This one won't cut anything at all. I guess I better get some new seam ripper parts in here. And there we go for that one. And here we go for this one. And that's all we got to do to get ourselves started. It really is that easy. Okay. And yep, that's all. That's all. And when you're done, put your seam ripper away so you can find it next time. I can't tell you how many times I've been looking all over the places like, oh, where did it go this time? Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, let me show you these. These are really cool. They've got a little curve to them, and it's just enough curve that you really have very little chance of nipping the reveal fabric with these. And I think that's the reason I like them so much. They also are very small, which means you have to take your time, okay? Um, Now, when doing this, I do not like to cut right up to the stitching line. That can cause problems. The Template Fuse is great at keeping everything in place through washings, but why take that chance? You know, we have so much invested in our projects that we really should take those extra steps of care to make sure that we have given it the best possible outcome. And you'll see this piece of fabric is about where I cut normally. You know, I used to cut very close. Then I had a student and she came in and she made actually bigger area than even this. And I fell in love with it. It looked so nice. Now, she was terribly fastidious with her cutting. So, for example, on curves like this, she was right on. There was no wavering at all. She got those cuts perfect. And she really inspired me to try and do them that way. And I really like them that way. Um, Tonight, this is a demonstration. I'm not using this project for anything. So I don't want to take all the time that I would normally use on making sure that the cuts were all perfect. Okay. It just isn't going to happen when I've only got an hour to demonstrate these. Okay. So here we go. Let's make sure we get some of these done before our time is up. And here you'll see, this is where I'm, not real happy with this, but it's okay because what I can do is I can come back and just nip away at a few more threads, just like this. And I've got it exactly where I want it, and then I can move on. And don't be afraid to do that because it's our project. We want it to look nice, right? Okay, and down around this side, we're gonna come. Make sure you've got a good view here. Again, these scissors, I love them. They really keep me sticking to that top fabric only for cutting. You can see I drew grids in here before, and then I thought, "Oh, I wanna do template tonight," because Lee wanted it. She really wanted me to do template. So, when Lee asks, I oblige, right, Lee? Oh, Joyce, hi, so good to see you. Definitely good to see you. Joyce joins us from Fairfield, California, and you guys are still having some pretty warm weather out there, aren't you, Joyce? And here's the pretend seam allowance, and I'm just gonna whack it off, okay? It's not gonna be great, but you'll get the idea. There we go. Basically, I'm doing it this way just so that you can see how cool this really is. And it really is cool, guys. Okay, back around. You know, curves are not as difficult to cut around as I think many of us believed in the beginning that they were. But you can see I got some little peaks right here, just cut them off. It's easy as that. They come off really, really easy. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do this one. And I'm going to use the same process. I'm going to start where I can get a good grip on things, making sure you still can see everything. I should have Lee on a hotline because she is always so gracious in letting me know if you guys have, if I have to adjust so you guys see better. I really appreciate that, Lee. Okay, around we're gonna go. Now, when you come in to cut on this side, you're gonna wanna leave at least that much because it's gonna make it look balanced, and it is about balance, okay? If I cut it real close like that, it's not gonna look right, and if I cut it real wide like this, again, it's just not going to look right, is it? So what we want is we want about the same amount on the left side of the thread as we have on the right side of the thread. So here we go, some more. Again, remember, I am not being overly cautious or careful in how I'm cutting this tonight because of time constraints. Is that cool? Love that. And after you have all of your template cut, then you're going to take your piece to the ironing board and we are going to press it. Okay? And when we press it, what that's going to do, it's going to take that glue that's on the back of the template fuse and it's going to fuse it permanently. Okay, there's no coming back. So if you didn't get it right the first time and you have it fused down, I'm sorry. There's there's really nothing you can do about it. Okay? Just that is why I mark every particular rotation that I want to cut off. Not only that, it gives, I think when I mark them first, it kind of gives me an idea of what it might look like when it's done. Um, now that we're talking and seeing that one absolutely gorgeous, I think it was a deer. Um, it was a deer scene, and it looked just beautiful. Okay, Jan asked a good question here. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate that. Um, she asked, "Can you lightly reheat and pull it up?" Um, I wouldn't. I don't think that I would. Can it be done? I've not really tried it, but I have used other fusibles that I've done that with, and then when I wanted to restick them, they didn't stick very well. Now, with that said, Template Fuse to me is a superior product. It has changed my mind about using adhesives, okay? About using the iron downs because I used to just detest it. And it was because it left things like a cardboard, like piece of cardboard under there, and I did not like that. It made it really obvious it was down there. Template Fuse remains soft. And in a quilt, that's what you want. You want soft, right? You don't want to feel cardboard next to your skin. After I discovered the Template Fuse, or tried the Template Fuse, I should say, I got rid of everything else. I don't use it at all. Not one bit. It's Template Fuse for everything. You can use it for appliques, which I do some applique work. Um, kind of would like to do more, but you know how that goes, right? Um, yeah, and for Temply, there's just no other product that I would even contemplate using anymore. The Temply Fuse is just the best thing that's out there for this type of application. That's just my personal opinion. And I think it's a good opinion, but that's me. Okay, let's get finished with one of these anyway, right? Uh, oh, we've got time to do one or two more others. Okay, so look at that. Isn't that cool, guys? Love it. Absolutely love it. Jan says, let's see what Jan has to say. Um, okay. All right, let's go. Lee has a question. Let's answer some questions. Do you have to stitch around the areas you cut out after it's pressed like you do applique? Absolutely not, Lee. I don't. I don't. I have washed things that I have template and used fuse on with absolutely no fraying at all. I do take one precaution. I wash on cold water. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but that's what I do, and it works. It works great. Okay, Debbie asks, do you like it better than Heat and Bond or Seam? Debbie, I won't get into product names. Okay, I don't think that's right to do that. Um, what I'm saying is that I like this better than any other one that I've used. Okay. And I have been sewing for a very, very long time. One of those two that you're talking about, I've never used. The other one I have. And yeah, I like it so much better. Okay. Jan says, or reposition it. Yeah, I've never really tried to reposition anything, Jan. So that may be an experiment that we want to try one of these days. Yeah. Lisa, she washes everything in cold. Debbie, no need to apologize. It's okay. It really is. It's just I don't feel comfortable talking about other brands when I'm here um speaking for So Steady. Okay. I'm sure you can understand that. You guys are awesome tonight. You're really coming up with you're challenging me. I like that. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna just grab a little bigger scissors here and cut up this way. See, I've got my finger under there so that I don't accidentally cut the reveal fabric. That would make me cry, especially since we're at the end of the quilt and I cut it open. Oh my gosh, that would be yeah, that would be tear time. And if I drank wine, it'd be a bottle of wine time too. Oh goodness. We all can laugh about it when we're not doing it. Okay, here we go. These 2 colors don't really look all that good together. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not crazy about it, but I did want some contrast here, so that's why I chose the yellow with the fuchsia or the pink or whatever color that is. Okay, there we go. Coming around. Again, I would go back and fix that up a little bit. I just think it could be done smoother. And by taking your time, it really is worth the time you take. Now, the other thing is, I would not do this while I was watching TV. Because it's too easy to start snipping when something exciting is coming on and you get to a really good part and you lose track of where you are on your quilt and oops, yeah, that wouldn't be a good thing. Not at all. We put so much time, we put so much energy, we put so much money. Don't tell our husbands that though, please, into making quilts that we really need to be cognizant of making sure that we are paying our utmost attention to every step of the way. Absolutely. Okay, we're going to get this one cut out anyway, guys. All right. It's not going to look pretty, not going to look real pretty, but it's going to get done. Okay. Whoops. Now, when I talked earlier about the amount of overhang to leave here next to the stitches, what I want to show you here is, again, this is demonstration. If you come this close, there is no product that can guarantee that will not pull out. And that is why I think it's real important to leave yourself a nice little area between the cutout and the stitching. It's not it's actually easier to cut it with a longer or a more pronounced area because if you're cutting it this close and you make a mistake, you've cut your stitching now. And that could be, again, another crying moment or another, like Kate says, a bonbon moment. Because what you'd have to do is you'd have to go in there, you'd have to take that out, that stitching out, and you'd have to replace it. And the sad part about it is you would have nothing to replace it to because you've cut too close to the fabric. There we go, guys. All right. Lee, did that did that give you what you were looking for? Because I know you've been wanting Templey for some time, and I hope that I was able to give you the Templey answers that you needed. Okay. Oh, so what we're going to do this week. Okay, here we go. I got to get my calendar out because I haven't looked at it in 3 days. Isn't that wonderful? It's so great. Okay, so tomorrow we are doing spinning wheels, circles on quotes spinning wheel, number 28, 29, and 30. We're getting to the end. And then on Wednesday at 8 a.m., for all of you early birds out on the West Coast, and it would be evening for you in Australia. I think it's gonna be late afternoon if you're in, Europe. I don't remember. Anyway, we are going to do mini fills. Okay, we're gonna talk about the mini fills. The mini fills are cool because it's a set of templates. Each template has the same shape to it, but it's 4 different sizes. So that's one that can really be used in a lot of ways. I love the bricks and I love the clamshells. Absolutely love the clamshells with the mini fills. So I hope that you'll join me for that. Okay. However, tonight I think we are done with what we've got tonight for you. I did not get to do the small one like I wanted to. We can come back and do that another time, though. And if you would be so kind as to like, subscribe, and share, I would be appreciated. I would appreciate it. Please feel free to leave comments. I do review them after the fact. And again, I want to appreciate so much you giving me your time today. Time is precious, and the fact that you share yours with me really is appreciated a great deal. You are all so welcome, and I hope that you come back tomorrow night. Oh, Lisa's going to the Quilt Festival. She's going to Houston and she's going to be taking a class with Kate. I believe all of Kate's classes are full now. Can you? Doesn't surprise me at all. Not one bit. I will not be there this year. You guys are so welcome. So I hope to see you tomorrow night or Wednesday morning or both. And until we meet again, let's quilt.